back to another episode of I Demand a Homestead. So this is the second part of a 3 or 4 part series on how to process your meat chickens. So we've already got our first video on how to humanely dispatch your broiler chickens, and that's very, very important. So if you want to check that one out, now it does show the actual dispatching of a chicken, so it's maybe not for children, just so you know. Okay, and now what we're going to do is, after we've done that, we've got one of our broilers here. So she has had the head has been cut off, and now what we're going to do is we're going to scald the chicken and then we're going to pluck it. So this is a very low-tech kind of way of doing this. If we did more chickens, you can kind of get plucker attachments for drills or make your own. We don't bother doing that because we don't do that many chickens. So what I've got is a big canning pot full of water. It's a little bit dirty now because we've been doing these for a little bit now. So what I'm going to do then is I take the lid off this pot, and then I'm going to kind of put the chicken in up to its, well, as high up the feet as I can get, and I'm going to kind of bounce it up and down to try and get the water underneath the feathers and to the skin. And I'm going to do that for about 10 or 15 seconds. Okay, so we'll do that now. So we get our chicken in here all the way up, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. And I'm kind of just bobbing it up and down. Okay, and then I'm going to pull it out. Careful, because the water is hot, obviously. And we're going to let that water drip off. And this is our last one, so I'm going to turn off the water. And then we're going to head over to where we're going to pluck this chicken. And we'll meet you there. So this chicken that I've got here has now been scalded, and I'm going to show you how to pluck it. My husband is sitting beside me, and he is has just finished plucking his, and it's looking pretty good. All right, so we'll show you how to do this last one. So I'm just going to pan the camera down here so you can see this chicken better. Okay, so this is our chicken, and then basically I've got a little bucket here, and I'm just going to pull these feathers away, just like that. And because the chicken has been scalded already, if your temperature of the water is good enough, which is kind of, so it's nearly boiling, or it can be even boiling too, as long as it's kind of up to at least to that temperature, you'll find that these feathers come away quite easily. And then you can kind of just pull them off. And I just kind of grab some and then pull, and try not to pull too hard, because once the chicken has been scalded, the skin is a little bit delicate. You want to try not to rip the skin if you can avoid it, although it does happen. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to probably cut out this video here, and we'll come back to, once I've got the bulk of it done, to show you some of the other parts that we have to do. Okay, so now I have got the back done, and the kind of belly and the legs pretty much done. So we'll talk about how you kind of do the wings and the tail. So see the wing here, and I find if I try and pull too many of these out at once, it doesn't work. So I try and just grab kind of 1 or 2 at a time and pull them out like so. It takes a little bit of grip strength, but not too much. And I just start doing that. I take the longest ones first, and I go after the smaller ones. And again, trying not to grab too many because you'll rip the skin of the wing, and you don't want to do that. And then once you've kind of got those long feathers out, you can pull off the smaller ones. And inevitably, you're going to get lots of feathers all over your fingers. That's a bit gross, but this is part of that idea that if you want to raise your own meat, you want to know where your meat comes from, and you want to have an animal that you know was humanely raised and had a good life, quality life. This is part of it. So I'm going to kind of do the same thing. You can kind of see this wing is getting pretty clean now. I'll carry on with that. But what I'll show you is it's the same idea for the tail feathers. I'm just going to go for the longest ones first. Give them a pull. Come along. Plucking a chicken, I think, seems pretty intimidating at first. It is actually really, other than being kind of not my favorite chore, although dispatching them is really not my favorite chore, but it's really not that hard. And then you'll see kind of at the tip of the tail, there's an oil gland there. We're going to cut that out later on when we talk about how to eviscerate them. We'll do that. And then underneath here, there's always some feathers around the vent, which are oftentimes have got poop on them. So I'm going to leave those for now until I take it to the kitchen, and we'll wash that off because I don't want to get that on my hands. And then I'm going to do the other wing, and then we'll kind of show you how to finish it up. But it's getting there now. It's starting to look like a chicken, a roast chicken. Okay, so here is our chicken, pretty much done. What I wanted to show you is one of the other things that you'll discover when you're plucking this, and it may depend kind of on the age of your chicken, but you can have something that what are called pin feathers, which are these little dudes right here. Just feathers that are just starting to emerge, okay? And you do want to pull them out. And some people will use pliers for this, or a knife in your fingernail. I just use my fingers, but you do want to get all of those out and kind of go along and make sure you've got them all. If your chickens are fully mature, these ones were about 16 weeks, so they won't have as many pin feathers because they will have already grown out. Pin feathers are a bit of a pain, so if you're able to kind of give your chickens enough time to fully grow out, I highly recommend doing that because your plucking will be a lot easier. The other thing that you may notice is, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, these chickens have hairs on them, and some of them are pretty long actually. I'll try and take some of those off, but a lot of times I just don't worry about it. I find that it's really not that big a deal. There's just a few hairs, and when you roast them up, they pretty much, those hairs will just disappear. They'll cook away as you cook them, but I'll try and grab the longer ones off. But in general, I don't worry about it. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this chicken inside, and I'm gonna show you how to eviscerate them and get them ready for roasting. And then these ones are actually gonna cut up into different pieces, and we'll show you how to do that. All right, see you soon.